Hey everyone, welcome back to Cinema, Mind and Brain, where we discuss principles behind the movie in order to unlock our minds and save the world. I'm Eric, thanks for joining. Today we are going to be discussing the movie Demon Slayer Mugen Train. I've been a big fan of Demon Slayer. I was excited to see this movie. I found it really interesting and I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into the movie and discuss some principles and truths that I saw within the film, and to share with you my film theory on this movie. So this movie picks up at the end of season 1 on the characters Tanjiro Kamado, Inosuke, and Zenitsu, as well as Tanjiro's sister Nezuko. So Tanjiro and his gang are going to meet up with the Flame Hashira, Kyojuro Rengoku. And here's where my theory is. I want to share my theory with you guys on this film. I went into this film thinking that the film and the story was about Tanjiro, Inosuke, Zenitsu, and Nezuko. I went in thinking that the story was their story. And upon watching the film, I don't think that this movie is their story. I believe that this film's story is actually Kyojuro Rengoku's story. Just a heads up, spoilers for this movie. If you don't want it to be spoiled, please don't watch the rest of this episode because I'm going to spoil everything. Because I want to really get into the theme and the meat of this story. And in the film, he offers to train these next set of Demon Slayers, Tanjiro and his friends. And I'm like, this is great. These guys have a lot that they can learn from this more powerful Hashira. There's a lot that they're going to learn. Clearly, Kyojuro is a mentor to them. He wants to be a mentor to them. And that's why I was so surprised by the end of the film. So at the very ending of the film, Tanjiro and his friends, they defeat the first powerful demon who put everyone on the train to sleep. It was a challenge, but when they worked together, they were able to defeat her. And I was surprised. After this fight, an even more powerful demon from the upper 3 showed up, and Tanjiro and his friends were already injured. They were already, tired from the last battle. So this meant that only Kyojuro had the ability and the strength and the skill to be able to fight this other demon from the upper 3. His name is Akaza. First of all, Akaza tries to recruit Kyojuro to become a demon. And this is where I want to define one of the concepts for this episode. So, the word is deception. Now, what is deception? Deception is a right action with a wrong why and how, or no why and how. So, Akaza presents to Kyojuro deception. So what Akaza says is, become a demon. He will be able to heal and regenerate quickly. He will be able to live a long life and to use that long life in order to become stronger and more powerful. Now notice, deception, it's a right what. So Akaza presents these right whats, or these right actions, to Kyojuro. Faster regeneration, longer life, more power. But why does Akaza want these things? What is the principle that is really driving Akaza? And I would say that one of these things is to serve his own ego, to feel like he is more powerful for his own benefit, and ultimately to further his own plan, his own purpose, which includes devouring humans, devouring other life, in order for him to become more powerful for his own benefit. Now notice that is a very good example of deception. And if Kyojuro was weaker in his spirit, or weaker in his own mental understanding, his own mental acuity, he may have fallen for and been tempted by Akaza's deception. Now, how was Kyojuro able to see through the deception? I mean, beyond the obvious. Obviously, Akaza is a demon, and demons do destructive things. They are destructive beings. They are evil. So, beyond that, Kyojuro, we see some flashbacks to his early informative years with his mom. And in his flashbacks, we learn that his mom teaches him a very simple yet profound lesson at a very young age. And she says to him, "Do you know why you have these God-given abilities?" And Kyojuro shakes his head. He's like, "No, I don't." And his mom says, "You have these strengths and abilities in order to help people that are weaker than you. Use your abilities for the benefit of other people." If we contrast that against deception, I will introduce another word for today's episode, and the word is truth. It is the opposite of deception. So truth is a right action, or a right what, with a right how and a right why. So notice, on both of these scenarios, deception and truth, they both recognize power and strength and ability as a good thing. They both want that. They both want more of that. But Akaza would use this to benefit himself, to make himself more powerful at the expense of other people who are weaker than him, while Kyojuro learned from his mom to use this strength, that same strength and that same power, to serve people that are weaker than him, to benefit mankind. On the surface, they can look the same, but if you look at the next level back, why? What's the principle driving this? What is the reason that is driving this behavior? And then you start to see how very different those two things are. So I believe this is why Kyojuro was able to say to the demon right away up front, "I don't like you. I don't want to be a demon. I don't think that we're going to get along. I don't think that that would work out." Because I had very different reasons and principles that were driving their behavior, different causes that they were standing under. We've talked about what a man is on this channel. A man is a male who is able to do the causes regardless of the effect. Or in other words, a male who does the right thing regardless of what will happen. So I'm watching this scene between Kyojuro and the demon Akaza, and I'm starting to feel really good about Kyojuro based on how he is responding to the offer of the demon. Kyojuro doesn't get tricked by this. He doesn't, he's not like, that seems like a good idea. Maybe I should consider that. Or he's not intimidated. He's not thrown off by this demon. He is very mentally sharp. He's very focused. And I would say that this is because Kyojuro knows the cause that he stands under, to use his powers and abilities to benefit other people. So, furthering into the fight between Akaza and Kyojuro, we can start to see that Akaza is starting to win. Kyojuro continues to land sword strikes on him, but he continues to regenerate at such a quick pace, and Kyojuro's strength is starting to fail. So we can see that the battle is going against Kyojuro. And I keep hoping, I keep wishing that he would pull some trick out of his sleeve to turn the battle around. And Kyojuro musters all of his strength with his flame breathing and strikes against Akaza, and when the smoke and dust clears, we see that Akaza has his arm through Kyojuro. Kyojuro wasn't able to land a killing blow against Akaza, and the sun starts to rise over the horizon, and the demon Akaza tries to break free. He's trying to get out of Kyojuro's grasp because he knows that if the sun comes up, then the demon will be destroyed, and Kyojuro won't let him go. And it's incredibly tense, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope that he, slices his head off and beats him and everything. And however, the demon manages to break free, and he runs off into the woods. Meanwhile, Kyojuro is not that far from death. So very, very emotional ending. Tanjiro and his friends are crying over Kyojuro, but Kyojuro's still alive. This is where I will introduce the last word for this episode, and the word is faith. I believe that Kyojuro is a man of faith. Faith, I will define as a belief in something that you cannot see, either because it is invisible or it hasn't happened yet. Now, I believe that Kyojuro demonstrated great faith, and this gets explained at the end of the film. So, Kyojuro says to Tanjiro, I did this because I believe in you and your friends. I think that you guys can become the next Hashira, and you guys need room to grow, to develop, to become the next Hashira. And right away, right there, that's showing that Kyojuro has faith. They haven't become the next Hashira yet. That hasn't happened yet. But he believes that they could become that, which takes faith. With the possibility that he could lose, and he fought all the way to the end, and he successfully protected Tanjiro and his friends from the demon. So another really touching moment at the end is when Kyojuro, he's finished speaking to Tanjiro, and over Tanjiro's shoulder, Kyojuro sees the spirit of his mother standing. He says, did I fulfill my responsibility? Did I complete this cause that you've given me? And his mother smiles and says to him, I am so proud of you, my son. Which means, yes, he did fulfill the cause that he was given, even up to his own death. And that's why I would consider him a man of faith, because he had a belief, he stood under a cause for something better in the future, and he allowed that belief and that cause to drive his actions and behavior for his whole life, even up to the point of his own death. Which means that he was doing the cause regardless of the effect. And he had the belief that if he protects this younger generation, this younger group, that they could become an even more powerful group of Hashira, that they could become something awesome. He completed the race of life. He completed his call, his mission, his purpose up to the end. That's my theory for this episode, that Mugen Train was really Kyojuro Rengoku's story. And we saw that Kyojuro is a man of faith. And we also learned about truth versus deception, which is what Kyojuro demonstrated. He demonstrated truth. His behavior out to benefit others was truth. He lived truth through fighting the demon in order to protect those weaker than himself, to build them up, to encourage them, and to benefit them. So that's all for this episode on Demon Slayer Mugen Train. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give the video a like if it benefited you. I would like this information to benefit more people. And if you want to continue to see episodes like this, please subscribe and drop a comment down in the comments if there is a movie that you would like to see reviewed on this channel on Cinema, Mind and Brain. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I will see you again later. Bye-bye.